Have you been following the story of Rebecca Towne Nurse of the Salem Witch Trials of 1692 and the fact that she has a message to say from the other side? Well, if not, definitely hit the links attached and go watch the full story. This right here is just a small clip of how all of this began and how it's all unfolding. It's quite a whirlwind, and our ancestors do come through. Honestly, this is the whole point of mediumship when they have a message to tell, especially one that will touch the world. So definitely hit the follow button, subscribe, all the good things, and stay up to date with this story. Rebecca and those on the other side with her that were also falsely accused and wrongly executed within the Salem Witch Trials, they got a big message, a big story to tell, and something that they hope will change the world.
Has been completely obliterated by lightning. It's been struck 10 times.
10 times.
10 times. And one of these tombstones, which they told us we can't walk on the grass, is actually somebody who, the first person that was buried under this tree was somebody who was killed by lightning. The edge, do you see it?
Oh, wow.
But check out how close this house is to the cemetery. And literally, you can reach out the window and like touch a tombstone. I'm not even Daniel Hawthorne's house. But
Just remember that we are humanity, and no matter what your vocabulary is, God, source, creator, whatever your vocabulary is, y'all know I'm going to say God. And it's my life, so I'm saying it. But however your vocabulary may go, we are all from the same person and place, and we're all here together. And it's called humanity, and people need to freaking get that right. And it really bothers me the more I learned about this, So out of love and respect, I'm gonna say a little something to myself. You can all, if you want to, do your own thing in honor of all those lost innocent victims, no matter the situation. I light this candle. So it is.
In honor of Bridget Bishop, Sarah Good, Elizabeth Howe, Susanna Martin, Rebecca Nurse, Sarah Wilds, George Burroughs, Martha Carrier, John Willard, George Jacobs Sr., John Proctor, Alice Parker, Mary Parker, Anne Pudiator? I'm sorry if I butchered that, Anne. Wilmot Red, Margaret Scott, Samuel Wardwell, Martha Corey, Mary Easty, and not to be forgotten, Giles Corey.
In honor of everybody we've lost. Ridiculously as well. So let's remember that. God bless them all and rest in peace. And I will say, if you missed the live, I literally, Miss Tina come up, and I believe it was, confirmed that, like her grandmother was just so happy. I was just shocked at the peace. The calm. Ashley said she was going. There's a lot of people that I guess were more worried about the energy because of people's sense and what they just think. Kind of like I never want, and I'm so mad. I'm mad at myself, but I have to forgive myself. And they understand. I was not aware. If we don't know, we don't know. And I definitely am so honored and thankful that y'all shared your experience. I didn't know that that was Miss Tina's, great grandmother, or I would have been freaking messaging all of you in the beginning anyway. But it just happened. She come on. When we went in, me and Miss Tina both saw the woman standing in the hall, right? And then we had the woman that fell down the stairs in a DV situation. With the witch trials, this was, I guess, and what did we find out? Okay, Tina doesn't know about the situation with the woman we were aware of that fell down the stairs. Wasn't it proven that
Yes,
her life was taken?
Yes, there was actually more.
This situation, we just happened, Miss Ashley, we met. Oh, we met a while ago, but we started talking. We started becoming Amelia. I just heard Amelia, and I'm seeing it with the A.
Oh, that was the one who wrote the book. If she's trying to say, because you know what happened when I was reading the book, if she's connected with Amelia since she lives over there.
Amelia is the name of who?
The Salem Witch I was telling you about.
That's her name's Amelia? I just heard Amelia.
That's her name.
And Corey and
a lot of people know because of the situation. So just acknowledge their existence and your gratitude for it meant a lot to them. They were very happy.
They said, I do know that Tina's grandmother literally said that she was happy. Definitely is at peace. I wish I knew about all of them. I'm sure they are. I'm sure, it felt just so amazing. And if you also, the tree that was struck 10 times in one spot. But you know what? I always say a myth comes from somewhere.
Right.
I mean, do we call it celebration? No. The fact they're at peace and not in this awful world, yes, at peace. But but I see what you're saying, honey. I'm sitting over here going, I'm in my little world. My head's going like, I feel so bad. Again, I got to forgive myself. But the fact that I didn't know then makes me know I had to do this, if only bringing awareness to a few other people. Because I didn't know. I just assumed, there were a lot of witches that were doing bad things because that's what I was taught from my family and, from the church. And if you know me, you know that I'm just different. And truth is truth. If I don't know it, I want you to tell me. And the fact, once we went to on the live and I felt the immediate peace, the immediate just like everyone else I connect to, the peace and loving to be acknowledged, like you said, it was beautiful.
But I will say, just you being open, being a Christian and being open-minded is mind-blowing because, like you were saying, so many religious people frown upon the things that we do. That's so even though you're upset from not knowing, you have to give yourself a big pat on the back from being open.
Oh no, I do. I ain't gonna admit that, but I'll go and admit it. You're right. I mean, but that's how I am in general. I knew. I mean, a Christian is supposed to the definition of a Christian. I'm just saying this. This is just fact. Is Jesus is all about love and acceptance of other people, and I am the first one to say, I always will for the rest of my life, that Christians in this day and time are the reason more people aren't Christians. And that's a fact. It's just a fact. Who doesn't know about the Salem Witch Trials, and who hasn't heard of the Towne sisters? Rebecca, Mary, and Sarah. Now, if you've been following for a while, you know that we recently did a live tour through Salem, Massachusetts, and our close friends took us on a private tour of all about Salem, all about the witch trials, and you can find the entire thing. We did two. We did one during, and then we did a follow-up for information. So another spiritual friend of mine, we honored her 10th great-grandmother during these lives. And it is a whole situation. What do you do when you find out that Rebecca Nurse is your 10th great-grandmother? And not only is this how you find out, you also find out her sister Mary, of course, is your, 10th great-grand-aunt? And you're a spiritual psychic medium. You find these things out because they come to you to tell their story. Now, all of this has been going on. It is something I'm known for. If you need any validation, I have folders. You can find reviews. You can find the fact that God has given me a great, great, beautiful gift that has literally saved lives and brought a lot of closure for a lot of people. I'm known for backing up all my spiritual gifts in scripture and missing text. Lucky me, Ancestry informed me last night, and all day today, that's why I'm so tired, we have been validating, yes, validating what, 90% of the information that Mary in spirit and my 10th great grandmother, Rebecca in spirit, has given me, while still holding their Bibles, I may add. They want me to tell their story. So what do you do when you find out all this? You immediately validate your information, soak it in, cry. Now, during our recent, lives of the Salem Witch trials, and, the fact that this was done and so many people were treated so badly and unfairly and, of course, executed when they were innocent. Because in those days, witchcraft, well, down under is what they're talking about. The bottom line is, I'm a spiritual psychic medium. Now, if you don't know what that is in this day and time, that's technically a Christian psychic medium. I am very much a Christian. Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and I am very much a follower of Jesus. I have had ancestors visit, saving lives, and starting right now, I am getting the only people that know about the messages I've been receiving. Mary and my grandmother and my aunt showed up to me because, just like in the past, I've had a grandmother show up to give exact words, a message to someone, to tell them that Jesus is real. So I'm posting this now. The amount of emotion, the amount of visions and conversation, all starting, the first one was on June 4th, and the second one was this morning, after I found out. And I always wondered who this woman was. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is how God works through mediumship. And she wants her story told, along with a very dear friend of hers story told as well. The beauty of social media is this right here. Rebecca and Sarah and Mary were all, and Rebecca was 71 years old, which she told me she was 72. Ancestors do come through, and our ancestors, our loved ones, will come through for specific reasons. And long story short, Rebecca Nurse is my 10th great grandmother. Tina Long, y'all probably know her. If you don't, she's been in my box. She's an amazing psychic medium. Her 10th great grandmother as well. So also, Mary is my 10th great aunt, but she come in and flat out told me that Margaret Scott, see, now I want to make this clear because this will be a highlight. Hi guys, so you can tell I'm ready, but I can only do this real quick. Okay, there's the book. 10th grade aunt flat out told me that Margaret Scott was her best friend. So of course I go to Tina, and Dawn has very much, I've mentioned it to Miss Lee, but we got a flash. I got a hold of Miss Tina, and we did some research and found out for sure that my 10th great aunt Mary, that was also executed, and her 10th great grandmother Margaret Scott were in fact the last group to be executed. With all the research, they name them. I think there's one person in between them. They did, like, they were executed together. They spent their time in this small, tiny little cell together. I've been able to validate all that. And I'm like, I've had a lot of cool stuff happen. Most people know I had no idea when we did the Salem lives. I had no clue. Becca is my 10th great grandmother, and Mary and Margaret were definitely, they had a connection for sure.
On paperwork the other night, I was telling you, I went through 30 generations.
See, we have been doing, and if you're not new to me, we've been talking about ancestors coming in. We found out, or she found out a couple months back, that we are 13th cousins in our ancestry. And she was in my very first live 4 years ago. And we've read together, it's pretty freaking wild, right? Like,
yeah, my mind's blown every time I start digging into it, and I find just like a new little gold nugget of information, and that I
have found out really was, she was, her husband was like, not the preacher or whatever, but over the church. She was a very, very Christian woman, as in And
Dressed
they
her as
hung
a
her.
very godly woman.
Yeah.
So she was very, very good. Even there was supposedly a neighbor she had gotten into a disagreement with, and when they were prosecuting her, he was one of the 39 people that went up and said, "Hey, you know what? We had an argument, but she ain't a bad lady."
I was seeing one of them and getting information to possibly say, we still got to figure it out, but she specifically said, and when I went over a channel right, now if you don't know what channel writing is, you can ask me anything, okay?
I do.
Yes, you do. Mary, which is my 10th great aunt, is the one that said Margaret Scott was my best friend. Now, best, I don't know, but I was just, can you imagine my head?
That's still the one that was in there with her, correct?
She was the one with Margaret, yeah.
They were in prison together, but they didn't. They weren't tried together.
Right, but they were executed together.
Yes.
Correct.
And I was just, right when you come in, I had just got through talking about how scared I was to tell you that. Because I kept hearing it, and she kept saying it. And I mean, I'm used to this, but to reach out and tell you was that was wild.
Yeah, I love how everything's coming together. It's amazing how our ancestors bring people together and tell stories. Like, it's blowing my mind.
I'm telling you, Miss Dawn here has been helping me with all this research.
You know, I have a lot of history things that are available to me on hand, and you know,
She's an
I
author,
love it
guys,
when people pick my brain.
and they want their story told, and that's my case anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Because
And I think with Mary, because a lot of the first information they found, they were only talking about the two sisters when there was actually three.
Our loved ones will come in strictly if they know you have a connection with this person and they want to get a message to this person. If it's an important message, our loved ones on the other side will find a way.
And I think they love reaching out, especially to those that want to learn about them.
that they're being on right now when we're trying to get their story out. So
Right.
Right. Yeah, they're no longer just names on pages. We want to learn about who they were.
Explain it, but I remember how I felt. She was so excited that we were honoring her. You're Margaret, your grandmother. But I'm a tree. Okay, think about this: the tree that had been struck by lightning. Y'all remember?
yes.
Yes.
It was struck 10 times in the same place.
That's not a coincidence.
Your 10th great grandmother, my 10th great grandmother, my 10th great aunt.
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. So yeah, girl, this brain's been going. I mean, I'm used to it, but this is beyond phenomenal. Like it's 10 generations back. Shoot.
I think they're happy too, because like you said, we honor them, and these poor women lost their life because somebody accused them of something they didn't even do.
I think the timing of all this coming together is important too, because remember just a few months ago, Oblivion found out that we are 13th cousins.
Learn your history or you're doomed to repeat it. So what's coming for us to be learning these ways now? And one of the important messages that I feel is coming from Rebecca was about, she could have been angry. She could have been hateful, but no, a part of her being the godly woman she was spreading that through love.
And everybody, yeah, from the research I've done.
But most of them were medicine women, not.
Yeah, they were healers. My gosh, they prosecuted a healer.
And she showed up with the Bible, so I'm immediately like, okay, it's one of my ancestors. Okay, what's supposed to happen? Because I haven't been as open to it as I am now, obviously. But yeah, she had come to me in dreams. She come to me on June 4th. She come to me during my awakening as well. We were working through patterns they faced in their time.
It's exactly what is the lesson we're going to learn from all of this.
Right.
Something that's going to get it's fixing to repeat, and we need to change it.
Oh, I just got goosebumps when you said that.
See,
Some of these issues are being stirred up again in Salem.
people consider the quote witch's wound stigma around our abilities.
Oh,
I feel like very much that's part of it.
Saying that they were worshiping the,
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're pointing us to is instead of uniting, they're trying to turn things back into patriarchal or God, I can't get that word right. That's what a lot of people keep bringing up is everything is trying to go back to that very male dominated ruling.
yes.
And
that are going through different types of what some call awakenings. It depends on your definition. And
if you have been following this story of the Salem Witch trials and my 10th great grandmother and Margaret Scott, Tina Long's 10th great grandmother, we have had some more validation before we put out their messages to the world. Mary, in spirit, when she was speaking to me, she continued to say that Margaret was her best friend. Now, we can't validate that they were best friends, but we have validated, as you have seen, that they did spend time in their holding cell, in the jail cell, together, we can validate that they were actually executed with the last round of those wrongly accused and wrongly executed together at the same time, same group. Also told me, Rebecca, my 10th great grandmother in spirit, told me that recently with the third message that Margaret Scott was literally her neighbor. Tina Long, Margaret Scott's 10th great grandmother. We were able to get the address. Of course, there wasn't addresses then, but we were able to get the address. Rebecca's house still stands today, and where Margaret Scott lived in Rowland, I can't ever say it correctly, just outside of Salem, is 12 to 15 miles between the two addresses. And it was validated that many people from Salem and vice versa would travel back and forth for church and trading and groceries and business and many things like that. And then with addresses for today's time, we were able to validate, because Mary continued to say that they knew each other in those times before being arrested and falsely accused of witchcraft, which Margaret Scott, if you see, basically, I did not know that Rebecca was my 10th great grandmother. I do have ancestors that come through. A lot of stories, a lot of things have happened, and it's quite amazing and fascinating. And so basically, Margaret Scott got Rebecca to come to me. She showed up with the Bible. Of course, I will be doing an entire video of her actual messages, which also includes Mary and I believe Sarah Good. I know, so several of those involved with the Salem Witch trials that are on the other side want to tell their story, and there's just so much more to it. I have 3 messages, and the last one, when Rebecca visited me, she said once again that Mary and Margaret Scott were neighbors. And so we got to looking and able to validate that Mary lived between Rebecca Towne Nurse and Margaret Scott. So it was even shorter than 12 to 15 miles. It was half that, according to our research, from Mary to Margaret. And they often, by research, traveled that road, that area, that for those times. And so on top of the fact we've been able to validate all that, and letting Tina know, and of course she is a spiritual worker as well, we have also found other links to other spiritual workers. If you watch some of this video, then you know that another spiritual worker was able to connect to Rebecca Towne Nurse, which she had already found out after 4 years of knowing each other, that we are 13th cousins on our ancestry. Also, a new friend of mine, she was able, I am Rebecca's 10th great granddaughter through Samuel, and we found out recently, Spirit has led us to all this information and connected us all, that she is Rebecca's 10th great granddaughter as well through Benjamin. Then I have met a few other people. Of course, Miss Dawn, that has been, I say, is my personal historian. We have found her connection where she actually was on the boat with the same family that come over here that started Rebecca's, whole line and all that. We have so much more to validate, and I have more people. We are finding connections left and right. There is a reason a big reason that our ancestors come through. But in this situation, they're literally connecting us all. And it's quite fascinating and amazing. And it is my job and responsibility, after my mother's literally saved my daddy's life and the many, many other situations that have happened, it is my responsibility to speak for my 10th great grandmother. And being a spiritual psychic medium, which means I am a Christian psychic medium, her message is even more powerful for me. She, of course, has a message straight to me, which has really helped me in a huge way. And then we have 2 other messages. I can't wait to finish. If you have watched to the end of this, and you've watched this clip, definitely go watch the folders. You will see the 2 entire lives, and our journey and how we've all been on this together. And the first one is a live tour of the Salem Village, and some history behind that from real people and spiritual workers that are able to connect you to heaven. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit those notifications. And I mean, this is a story you don't want to miss. This is a message for the world from the other side. And that is the whole point. To help us on this journey, help us in this life, and help us with humanity, the greater good, this entire earth. Right is right, wrong is wrong. There's no in between. God bless you.